Hey guys, and welcome back to our Don't Starve LP. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here with me today. Where we had left off, I don't really remember. I'm going to be broad-faced on this one. I'm not going to try and hide the fact that I don't really remember what I was working on at this given moment in this game. It's been 9 days since I last played, so we're going to jump back in and we're going to do our best to figure out what our current goal was. Now, it appears as though I have built myself a sizable grass field. I don't know if these have all been fertilized. Let's take a look. No, they appear to, well, kind of. They appear to have kind of, sort of been fertilized. So let's fertilize the rest of all this. And then we will also fertilize our berry bushes because we need to get those growing before winter decides to show up. As far as food goes, we appear to be severely deficient. And so I think what my goal is going to be for now is we're going to run around and find some food before we starve out. It looks like we have plenty of wood. It looks like we have some kind of planks and boards and things here. We have some charcoal, so we have a lot of basic stuff. We have some basic thingeries, but at the moment we're dwelling in kind of a state of nubity. So let me make myself a shovel. We'll find ourselves some food. I don't really know what to do with these mushrooms. I do know that a patch had dropped right before I left, and wouldn't you know it, a new patch is probably just about to drop. In fact, I think when I logged into play it said next patch imminent. What a letdown that this world is not. They really need to fix that. Like, I kind of wish that the game auto-generated islands like Minecraft does, so that even when they put out a new patch you're still okay, you aren't missing out too much. But maybe that's a bit too much to ask. Maybe I'm being a bit too needy. But we'll play this map out. I apologize if I don't jump into the next patch outright. You guys have probably seen most of the content at this point. This is really, if there's going to be a downside to a fast update schedule, this would be one of them, in that it's tough for me to showcase things if I end up going out of town for a while. So I just generated this new map. We're already 2 episodes in, so let's keep on trucking. We're going to call this the Land of Button Willow, and so we're going to spend as much time here as possible. Let's go get some food cooked up, and once that need is taken care of, we can kind of focus on other things. So we've got some carrots here, we've got some berries, we've got some more berry bushes. We were getting manure from somewhere. I think that there were beefalo buddies down to the south, and so let's dump some of this stuff off in crates before we continue on. What else? Nitra? We'll put nitra in there. Or niter? I still don't know how to say that word. We will also put stone and building materials in there. There's no need for us to be carrying around like hundreds of logs. We'll put those back in there as well. And let's plant some of these berry bushes. Now, lightning strikes are going to be a new issue for us. So at the moment, we may end up with our berry farm getting struck by lightning, everything burning down, and being miserable. But we do need to have food growing actively, so we're going to take the risk at the moment. If it ends up backfiring on us, so be it. I always liked a good fire anyways. Abigail Strike, have you noticed that all the female characters have blank eyes? It's a bit unnerving. I don't know if I could ever go out to dinner with a lady with no pupils. I mean, maybe if it wasn't her fault. I'm full of emptiness. I know. We're going to cook food as soon as nightfall comes, but I don't want to waste time doing it right now. My dear, dear friend Abigail. Or Wendy. Actually, her name's Wendy, I believe. Abigail is her sister, her dead sister. I keep wanting to call her Abigail, and I don't know why. My brain is terrible with names. Like, here's a trick. If you ever need to ask somebody what their first name is, there's a little trick to this. There's a little secret that I will bestow upon you. Basically, you go, what was your name again, man? Or something like that, you know? Just being nonchalant about it. And when they're like, oh, it's Brian, then you can go, oh, I mean your last name. And it'll work at least the first 6 or 7 times. After that, I can't guarantee the effectiveness of the tactic, but keep that one in your back pocket. I've used it before, and it seems to work pretty well. Now, our beefa buddies are not excreting at the rate that I would prefer that they be excreting. So, unfortunately, I appear to have abandoned an axe at some point. So we may not be able to fertilize all these trees just yet, or all these busheries, all these shrubberies just yet. Oh, no. Don't do that. Death will not find you. God, that is not what we need right now, Wendy. That is not what we need. We do not need to bludgeon our beefa friends. Bludgeoning is not going to help us right now. In fact, that will put us decidedly behind where we want to be. In fact, it will probably make us dead, which would work for seeing the new patch content. I will admit, that would speed us onwards in our desire to see the new patch content, but it would also make me dead on day 7, which would make me feel very, very noobish and very, very embarrassed. And I might not even, I might not be able to show my face on YouTube again were that the case. So let's head back to camp for now. There we go, grab manure on the way by because there's no sense wasting our time. I haven't played around with adventure mode yet. You guys will notice if you've been generating new worlds that there is a new gameplay method called adventure mode. That is going to have kind of a storyline from what I've heard. It's going to have a storyline, there's going to be things going, but the last time I tried to play it, there was nothing really going on there. It seems like it puts a time limit on your world where everything goes to winter after a little bit, and it also... when I mean permanent winter. When I say it goes to winter after a little bit, I mean it goes to permanent winter after a little bit. So basically there's no escape. And as we saw in our previous series, surviving during winter does not go very well. I mean, you have to survive very much hand to mouth during winter. So you do want to stockpile, you do want to get things ready before winter decides to rear its nasty little head. But in the meantime, it is now, well, kind of evening, so let's see if there's anything else that we can dig up before we go much further. We do need to get rid of this shovel before we finish up the day. I don't really want to be carrying around broke-ass tools with me. It looks like we got flowers and some evergreens, and it looks like there's a mushroom hiding. I tried to eat one of the mushrooms. It didn't go so well. The mushroom did not appear to be healthy for me. It did not seem to have any beneficial effects. I'm going to assume that later on we're going to use that for potions or something of that nature. I haven't played around with this patch at all. I have been woefully out in the wilderness. In fact, surviving very much like Wendy is now. Poor Wendy is now surviving. I really like the fact that she doesn't have an enormous stomach. That makes me pretty happy that I don't have to feed her ridiculous amounts of food just to get up to a moderate hunger level. So we have survived for the day. That puts us in a nice little spot, and our sanity appears to be waning. There are many things appearing to me at the moment, which is why I keep using that sentence. I need to step away. I need to expand my vocabulary horizons at the moment and cease using that sentence. But it just keeps coming to me. It just keeps coming to me. I can't help it. So we're going to cook up some seeds here. And we do have a science machine, which means we need to start preparing for our alchemy engine. I'm going to cook the seeds for now, because I don't think they're going to be useful for farming for at least another day or two, and we'll pick up some more on the way. So let's look at our research. What is that? A shadow manipulator. A living log. Nightmare fuel. Purple gems. Huh. Okay. Well, let's focus on the basics for now. I don't want to get sidetracked with all the weird stuff. The game is getting more complicated as time goes by. I don't want to focus too much on weird recipes and things. So we have stone. So let's go ahead and cut our blocks for our engine. There we go. And we will go to our refinery menu. And as always, as we have done many, many times before, we will continue to churn out the things we need to get started so that we can enjoy the game in a proper fashion. We also, I'm willing to bet that's why I was gathering so many logs here, is that I needed them for my alchemy engine. I see very few other reasons for me to be carrying around like hundreds of logs like this, so we'll refine those as well. I don't remember how many it said I needed, so I don't want to overdo this. It said I needed 4. In the early game, I like to keep my log supply close to my chest so that I don't run out. And so now we have enough. Let's go to our science menu, and we will take our alchemy engine, and let's place it here. Will work. There we go. And now that our alchemy engine is up, we have full access to the entire tech tree, which is going to allow us to get a lot more things done. Now we can combine blue and red gems, it looks like. I know you get those from frost hounds, and you get those from fire hounds, so we'll keep that in our back pocket as well. We need to start getting our farming plots ready, so it also looks like we have a drying rack. So let's try out the jerkiest of racks. I remember making a joke about that in the past, so I'm going to refrain at this point, but it looks like I have most of the material, so let's try the jerking rack. We'll grab some coal here, and we will also grab some grass so that we can make some ropes, and we will refine those ropes. Let's see, there we go. I don't like how it keeps closing that the first time I create things. Stop that. UI, you are not helping. So we can make a jerking rack now. And I don't remember where I saw that. I think I saw it right here. Okay. And there's our drying rack. So I can hang meat here. So I guess I can make jerky or something of that nature. So let's get our trapping going. If that is the case, we should probably get trapping of some nature going, but we need a better twig supply. So let's go find ourselves some twigs, and once we have those, we'll be able to move forward. And there's some twiggy forest denizens. Hopefully it doesn't flip that twig off into the river. You never want to flip off your twigs. You want to keep your twigs happy. I try not to be offensive with my twigs because I feel like I don't have enough twigs a lot of the time. We spend so much time twig wanting that flipping them off and driving them away I don't think is the best way to sustain myself. So we'll grab some twigs. And once we have those, we'll be able to make some traps. And once we have our traps, we'll be able to get some meat, and we'll test out our drying rack to see what that does. There we go. And we're a little low on flint. Someone had mentioned that in a previous episode, and I apologize if I had run past any flint. It's not because I had meant to do so. It's because flint is usually last on my list of things that I need. Flint I usually put near the end of my first day list. Usually it's the 20 twigs, the 20 grass, the 20 food, and then from there I focus on getting myself some of those flinty things that I need, because the first day all you really need is just an axe to get your logs built up. Hey, and we're actually producing berries finally, so that's good. And let's make ourselves a few traps and see how many of these rabbits we can catch down here. I'm not going to worry about Krampus too much. He's not terrifying to me at the moment. Krampus can steal whatever he wants. I don't really have a whole lot of good things, and maybe if he shows up we'll be able to... Oh, that one ran to that. Maybe this one. Oh, the shovel did not kill him in the manner in which I thought it would kill him. So I guess the rabbits have become more resilient. Maybe they've upgraded their tech tree. They are now functioning with much better rabbit armor. You never want the neighboring rabbit tribes to figure out that they can use spears and armor, but we will sort that out in the future. Let's make sure our entire field is at least partially fertilized at the moment, and we'll dig up this hole, because there's nothing worse than a gopher hole. Nobody likes gopher holes. If you've spent any amount of time in flatlands, you will know that gophers just get into everything, and they will drive you nuts. I'm also going to eat some seeds here just to get by, and hopefully we catch some rabbits. It sucks that that bird went right into our trap and it didn't close on him. I know that we need a different trap type, but it would be nice if you could multi-purpose a little bit, like a trapicator. That would be a really cool item for them to add to the game, just a trap that functions on everything. And we are a little low on grass now that I've used those to make traps. The traps are in place, so let's look around and see if there's any bushes that I've missed. I've missed a berry bush down here. I don't want to adventure out into the swamps just yet. It's dangerous terrain to find yourself in the early game. We don't have log suits or anything to protect us, so I would like to have a better arsenal before we stumble into that situation. There's some further flint and also a carrot. The carrots, I think, were nerfed in the most recent patch. They were pretty amazing in the patch before that, but I feel like the nerf hammer has descended upon them like a horrible, horrible cloud just made of stone and hammers. A cloud made of hammers probably wouldn't float very well, and therefore would drop quite swiftly and also quite heavily. So it dropped, like, basically it dropped the hammer like a cloud made of hammers, which, that's kind of a circular simile. It's a simile which draws upon itself, but that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make for the purpose of keeping dialogue moving. And so we've got a rabbit. We got a dud. I hate duds. Why do you do this thing to me, traps? Why do you do this thing to me? You say that you have caught something. You are jiggling quite rapidly, and therefore I feel like you are full, but you are not. And so we go back to our second night with nothing to hang on our wondrous drying rack of drying. Now let's harvest our bushes before any of our gobbly friends decide to show up and just give me a headache. We'll cook this food up. We've got a little bit of time left, actually, so let me run out here and make sure that there's absolutely nothing that I've missed. Our sanity is dropping off. I'm trying to let our sanity drop, but we've got too much time in the sun. So any time spent in the sun is going to cause your sanity to return slowly but surely, and it's okay. Dealing with insanity at the moment might be a bit too much. We do need to get some shadow fuel, because I've noticed that a lot of the more recent recipes require the shadow fuel in order to be useful, so we'll try and keep those on the itinerary, getting shadow fuel, which requires us to go insane and kill monsters that are just around and about. Stale green caps, so those go bad. I guess our mushrooms do go bad. They don't appear to sprout any further mushrooms, which fungi are known to do. Let's head back to our camp. None of our twigs have grown back. Some of our grass has started to grow. Some of our berries have grown in. That's good. I like where we're at. We're not in an amazing situation for the evening, but we are where we are. So let's cook these up, and we'll survive hand to mouth once again. Hopefully these handfuls of berries and this little bit of carrots will get us back up to full. We've got a couple days before our beefaloes go into heat, so I feel like it's almost a necessity that right now we head out and we harvest as much beefalo manure as possible. We try to get as much of that fitted out as we can. And so once we have that taken care of, we'll head even further out. And, well, once they go into heat, that's going to basically put the nail in the coffin. We aren't going to be able to harvest manure anymore because they are simply too dangerous. That's really how the last death happened, is I went out to harvest manure. I didn't know that the enemies were in heat, and I got ganged up on by a walrus with a blowgun, and also beefaloes, which in combination were almost insurmountable for me. I'm going to plant these last couple twiggies before we go out as well. There we are. And I don't know if I can make a lightning rod or anything of that nature to stop lightning, but I feel like I'm tempting fate right here with these huge swaths of pasture land and twigs and berry bushes. So I should probably do a little bit of research and figure out if there's any way to stave off lightning strikes. If you guys know, throw it down in the comments. I am woefully unprepared for this playthrough, and you little gobbly bastard, I need to go get myself a... No, gobbler. You little... Ugh. I hate you so much, gobbler. I hate you. Let me grab that. And he's just going to dwell. He's going to eat up our entire crop. I know he is. And there's not a whole lot that I can do about it. The hounds are baying. It's not day 10. How do we have hounds already? Hounds don't show up till day 10, I thought. I started a new world, so I guess... Let's go to our menu here, and we'll try and make ourselves a log suit real fast before they show up. We're going to make ourselves some ropes, because we do have the materials for those. We also have logs. So let's make a log suit, and we will equip that. And in the worst case scenario, we have some extra ropes. So let's research a spear as well. And there it is. Make ourselves a spear. And she says, I can carry no more, unfortunately. And we're going to harvest out. Let's throw that last charcoal in there just to keep the fire going. And I'll grab these berries off before our gobbly friend decides to come back. And I don't think we have enough berry bushes right now to keep ourselves sustained. I don't really know where those hounds are going to come from, but I know they are coming. I can hear them. They definitely don't sound like they're in a good mood. And so we got a rabbit that time, which is awesome. I'm always okay with catching a rabbit. We're going to take him out. And I guess I'll just plant this bush down here. It's kind of a backup bush. I do wish you could plant the berries and they would turn into bushes in the future. Maybe they'll add that in a patch just so berry bushes become sustainable, because as you dig them up, they tend to not be sustainable. Which, if you know this game, the rule of the game is to keep everything as sustainable as possible. We've got one day to gather manure here for our crops. So I'm going to spend that as wisely as possible. Grab as many piles of manure as I humanly can. And we'll get rid of that hound first and foremost, because he is a danger to us. There we go. And so he's out of the way. We took a little bit of damage, but not much. Thank you, Log Suit. You were always wonderful to me, and you were always helpful. I thought we had a second beefalo herd, but I can't quite remember where it was. It's been just too long to where I have this inkling that we had another beefalo herd. And you'll forgive my arbitrary rotation there to get at that poo. I have fully changed my ways and embraced the school of rotation. I rotate quite frequently at this point. And I guess that's the best we can do. I do want to play with the jerking rack before we get out of here. But we're in such a time crunch for grabbing, because you'll see, the second this rolls over to 10 days, they almost unanimously and almost on the dot go into heat. It's one of those systems that's in the game that you can really rely on. It happens very, very consistently. You can time your watch to it. Let's grab some of these grasses too, because I feel like I'm low on those. I haven't played around with the wormhole. I don't really know where it goes. I figure it would likely jump out over here if I had to take a stab. There's manure right here, so maybe there's more beef. There it is. We do have another herd. I knew we had another herd of beef-a-buddies. I knew it. Now, I believe it takes 8 of their manures in order for us to make a farming plot. So hopefully we can get a couple more. I would like to get turbo farming plots up and running. I do feel like there's some tuning that needs to be done for winter. I don't feel like basically you make yourself an ice chest, but it doesn't cause your items to stay alive or to stay fresh that much longer. And when surviving winter, it becomes very difficult to keep your food fresh. Like your berry bushes stop working. Basically, I feel like the game is trying to flush you out in winter, which it's meant to be a difficult point, and the game definitely had a problem with a difficulty curve earlier on. But this is the first time playing Don't Starve that I've ever kind of felt the crunch, where the crunch of snow underfoot matches the strange desperation I feel to survive. So there's another poo. And I didn't want to spend a whole episode gathering poo, but it is a necessity, so I do want to showcase that aspect of the game. You do need to do this. We're on day 9, so this is it. This may be, if basically if we get an early winter and we don't have enough farm plots set up, we're going to be in deep, deep trouble. So this is a necessity. I apologize if it's not the most entertaining viewing, but it is required right now. It's something we have to do, we have to do, we have to do, or we are going to end up just up shit creek without a paddle, or with an insufficient paddle, which can almost be worse. Your insufficient paddle won't allow you to steer. Like, it almost allows you to steer where you need to, but frustratingly draws you away just before you've got control of your momentum. So we want to avoid that situation at all costs. And I was thinking about it. You guys can let me know. This is going to be kind of our question of the evening. This may be the last series I do of Don't Starve. I feel like we've got 60 to 70 episodes now mashed out, I should say, matched out. I've mashed out a lot of episodes of Don't Starve, so I'm thinking of retiring the series, and this is the question for the night. Do you want to keep seeing Don't Starve? So I will run this one to the end of its course, but making room for other games is also important for a channel, so I would like to try out some other stuff. We've had a lot of episodes of Don't Starve, so it may be time to move on and hit the old dusty trail. Let me know what you guys think. I've been vexed by it, so I do want to build the channel around you guys, just kind of keeping everybody involved. So if you've got any ideas to that extent, let me know, and I'll see if I can work in your ideas for what else we can do. If you want to keep seeing Don't Starve, I'll keep putting out Don't Starve, but at a certain point, you feel the call to move on. So we'll run this one to the end of its course. Let me know. That's your question of the day, is just let me know how you feel about making a new Don't Starve series. Oh no, I've done something bad. Let me drop you on the ground there and get at this rabbit. No! Damn it, rabbits. Oh, you little bastard. He dove back into the bush. Well, I suppose one berry is a small price to pay to get that gobbler the hell out of my hair. Oh, there he is again. Is he teleporting in between bushes? Got kind of a Scooby-Doo type thing going on where they're running and coming out different places. Let me see, where did I leave my logs at? Oh, they're in my backpack, so I'll use that for now. We'll use the poo fuel. And this is the end of our final day. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here in the Nerd Castle. I hope you've had fun watching this LP, and I hope to see you next time. So if you did enjoy it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw me a comment with the question of the day so we can figure out where we're going with this series, and I will see you guys next time. Take care out there.